Hi TransByDef, it's Jenna. Welcome to this week's topic, which is going to be workplace transition or transitioning in the workplace, which for almost all of us, unless you own your own business, is a major step in transition. I would not be the textbook version of how to do it the right way. Basically, when my bell went off, I ran 100 miles an hour to get through transition as fast as I could because I was afraid of getting caught in the, getting caught in the middle someplace and not being able to finish surgeries and those type of things. I was terrified of being trapped in the middle. So I went through it, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, and my friend Laura tells me that I had the fastest transition she ever saw. But to back up to the beginning, I did have a therapist and that I worked with very closely, planning my out day at work. You know, contingency plans, what are you going to do if you lose your job, which I really didn't give a lot of thought to. And I think part of the reason for that is when we finally embrace ourselves and come out, we tend to get caught up in a euphoric stage. I'm guilty of that. And just happy to finally have the pieces of the puzzle all snapping together finally and being able to feel like I'm finally on the right path to being myself, and finding comfort and the ability to love myself. So when I set these plans up to coincide with having FFS done with Dr. Osterhout and when I was going to out myself. Unfortunately, before we can get all the plans in place, and I did work very closely with my therapist because I knew that I wasn't totally on the ground, and somebody took it upon themselves to out me. So we weren't quite ready for the out. And looking back in hindsight, I really should have planned that better. I mean, for the most part, things worked out because I live in New Jersey, which has very strong transgender rules, and the fact that I wasn't, I had been on the same job for, a long time. That kind of like, 15, 16 years on a job, 17 years, whatever it was a long time, that it kind of made it hard for them to get rid of me. Now, somebody that we know how hard it is for trans people to get employment. We have really high, besides suicide, we have very high unemployment rates. So I really didn't give a lot of thought into contingency plans or what I would do if I got fired, because I really never thought about it, which is, having a family and children was really, on my part, was immature and very irresponsible behavior. But looking back, I mean, obviously things worked out for me. I'm still here today. But the things that I would try to have in place is a really good plan, contingency plan, 6 months worth of money to fall back on just in case you end up getting unemployed. Know your gender laws really well for your state. Know the demographic history of your building, your business, and your employer to how they may or might respond to the news that you're going to transition, and have maybe a therapist or someone that's a good ally to back up and help you through so you don't step on your toes. In my instance, I had that, but they decided not to use that resource. I did all the books and literature that you can give to an HR person, but looking back at my HR person, she was from a little bayou town, in Louisiana, and she was totally deer in the headlights when I came out. It was frightening. But I would have talk to an attorney, financial things taken care of, make sure, if you do have a contingency plan on what you're going to do, know your your company history and how that might play out, and then kind of do a little give and a little take. I found in my instances that it was better if I didn't become a bull in a china shop and say, this is who I am, damn it. I kind of kept other people's, feelings in mind when I was going through this. Not that it was going to change anything, but I was sensitive to other people's needs, and trying not to discuss it. But one thing I know is it will get you in deep trouble is if you transition at work and they go about telling everybody in the workplace about it. That is like a faux pas, big time. That's where some trans people will get into trouble. I was warned that they were going to protect me, take care of me, and yada yada yada, all those things, that they were afraid of a lawsuit because the laws are so strong in New Jersey. But I know people have gotten themselves in trouble with being in this euphoric stage where we really don't process information as well as we should, and I've known numerous people that have gone in that I'm so happy to be myself, and they want to share that, and people embrace you, and not necessarily everybody gets it. I work in a predominantly industry that's related to the construction machinery industry, with a manufacturer that is boy toys, big time, and you really need to look at, is that the right place to be? For me it was, because I think the tenure there had me in a safe place. But some employers have protections for you, and others are more embracing to the trans community than others. So colleges and the medical field, those type of things are more embracing than an industry like the construction industry. So you need to think about all those things and spend some time with your therapist and coming up with a really, really good plan. And then writing an out letter that is not reviewed so much by your friends, but by professionals, maybe your therapist and your attorney, so that you're not stepping on your toes. I know that our company attorney, when I wrote my out letter, asked for some revisions. When they came back to me and asked if I would make some revisions in it, I gracefully accepted doing that, but it didn't feel good for me, because some of the stuff that was in there was kind of taking the humanness out of who I was away. So, but I did it, and have kind of gotten through those rough years. For some of us, being able to transition and move on plays into that also, with an employer. I have friends that have left the company, and gone through the transition period with the name change and yada yada yada, all that type of stuff, and then went to work somewhere else and have had no problems. But they're on the deep stealth side. And some of them people have left a company and gone somewhere else, and people know. So it kind of, depends on where you're going and what the employer is like, and the people that work there. I would definitely think long and hard, and have a really good plan in place before you drop this bomb. For me, if I had lost my job and my age and the industry I was in, I would have been unemployable. Looking back, that's scary. But at the time that I was transitioning, I didn't even give it a thought. And that was really dumb. You know, and I guess I was so caught up and afraid of not getting through everything I wanted to get done, just in case I did lose my job, that I really didn't give that much thought. So now when I look back at it, I get the shivers. You know, it's like, what were you thinking? I wasn't thinking. So I look forward to your comments and thoughts and ideas and things that have worked for you, and questions you might have for me or any of the other members of TransByDef. I'm looking forward to hearing Jenny and Harley and how they've, you know, dealt with, you know, moving on and continuing your job. And so I think I've kind of covered what I wanted to go over. By all means, I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts. And if you have any questions for me, I am more than willing to share those with you. So thanks, have a great week, and I look forward to everybody else's comments in the other post. So take care, peace, bye.